Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now we have been told that Anthony Joshua will likely fight Kubrat Pulev on the 12th of December. Now there were a few dates floating around that could possibly happen for AJ versus Pulev, and they were all in December. Well, both of them anyway, 5th of December and 12th of December. It seems like it's going to be the 12th, and it will be announced likely this week or next week, and set in stone that is the date for AJ Pulev. Now, whether there is a crowd there or not, we don't know at the moment. I think they are planning on that because it will be at the O2. So they are hoping to have a crowd there. But that is obviously dependent upon the restrictions and depending how many people they can actually get into the O2. Now, the one thing about this is they are having a pay-per-view event, obviously with Anthony Joshua and Pulev. Then, 1 month before that, on either November 14th or November 21st, Dillian Whyte will rematch Alexander Povetkin. 31st of October, we will likely get Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora. So we have a pay-per-view in October, November, and December in the heavyweight division. Now that is all on Sky Sports. We will also probably get a pay-per-view in Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce, which was supposed to happen October 24th. But that has also been moved, and that will likely take place November 14th or November 21st. The same dates being proposed for Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin too, so that could be a clash and a conflict of interest. So I would imagine that if Alexander Povetkin and Dillian Whyte go 14th, then Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois will go on the 21st, or maybe the other way around, because they are not going to want to coincide with that event, because I believe that Alexander Povetkin and Dillian Whyte will outperform Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois, not because it's just a better fight, but just because of the profile of Povetkin and Dillian Whyte, being that it is contested at world level, whereas Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois will be contested at British and European level. Now again, the idea behind pushing Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce further back into November is because of crowds. They want crowds for that fight, but it seems like it's going to be better in November than October. So it seems like it will get better as time goes on, and more crowds and more people will be allowed into the arenas. So Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois, that cannot afford to coincide with Povetkin and Dillian Whyte, because that show is going to struggle anyway, especially if they are hoping for a crowd, and the dependency of the event happening is solely on there being a crowd there. They're not going to find it too easy if they are going up against another heavyweight clash, especially one that will attract a lot of attention, more so than it did before, and the first one done, 300,000 buys. So Povetkin Whyte will attract a lot of attention. So Dubois and Joe Joyce do not want to go up against that, not on the same date. And this is just heavyweights. We have the possibility that Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders could fight this year. Seems unlikely, and realistically I don't believe it will happen, but I hope it does. If it does, that's another pay-per-view. Canelo might fight also this year, another pay-per-view. Let's not forget as well, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in December. So it seems like there will be a lot of pay-per-views gathered into a short space of time, in the space of like 2 or 3 months, considering that Alexander Usyk and Derek Chisora will be on the 31st of October, but that's still pending. We don't know whether that will happen in October or November. So there are going to be a lot of pay-per-views coming up, and I guess many fight fans will have to choose which ones they want to watch more so than the others. And I'm guessing it's going to be, Usyk and Chisora is going to have a lot of attention on it, and Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois, the same, because it's such an intriguing matchup. But Povetkin Whyte, big event. Joshua Pulev, big event. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3, big event. Then there is the undisputed lightweight championship as well between Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko on October 17th, which will likely be on BT Sports. Whether that is pay-per-view at the moment, we don't know. I would imagine it would be for the undisputed lightweight championship, although it will be early in the morning, so it could be free to air, but at the moment we are not too sure on that. So there are going to be these big events going towards the winter months, which is great for the sport of boxing, especially considering that those fighters are going to have to take a bit of a pay cut to fight behind closed doors. And there is no reason why these fights shouldn't happen. I know they have to take less money, but the current climate kind of makes that happen. So the money is not there now, that was there before. So I guess fighters just have to accept that And if they want to stay active, they have to take these fights for less money. And going back to Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev, Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn did want to have a crowd there, but it seems like maybe there won't be, and if there is, it will be a limited crowd. So he's going to fight anyway, because by the time that date comes, he will have been out of the ring for a full year, especially considering he's 30 years old, probably in his prime, or getting very close to that. He does not want to be inactive. And in addition to that, we don't know when we are going to be having full stadiums, like 80,000, 90,000 people in the same stadium again. So they cannot realistically wait for that. Anthony Joshua needs to remain active during these years in his career. That is very important, especially considering the time he is at, where he has learned so much and realistically is still learning. But he needs to put that into motion in the ring against Kubrat Pulev, against Alexander Usyk, then hopefully next year against Tyson Fury. So it seems like the big stars in world boxing have made a decision that they want to fight. They don't want to be inactive because they want more money. These big fights need to happen, whether they are behind closed doors or with a crowd. They just have to bite the bullet and say that these events must go ahead. They can do these events. I mean, look at White Povetkin. These events can be held, but there seems there isn't going to be a crowd there. And if there is, by October, November, December, the crowd will be limited to, at most, maybe 10,000. And that is if they are lucky, if things go well. That is what they are hoping for Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. But that is not a given. That is no guarantee that they will get that many people into the O2, especially with social distancing guidelines still in place. They have to be careful, of course, but boxing does need to continue. These fighters need to stay active, especially considering Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, even Alexander Usyk, and the likes of Lomachenko. They need to be active during these years of their careers because it is very important they stay active. And that does mean we are going to have mega events coinciding with one another and mega events that cross over. That's just the way it's going to be in the winter months. And I know that that means more pay-per-views, but I guess what they will have to think about is maybe adjusting the number that they charge for a pay-per-view, especially if there are so many close together. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Anthony Joshua looks like he will fight Kubrat Pulev on December 12th, and before that, we will get Povetkin White 2 and Alexander Usyk, Derek Chisora just a month before that. October, November, December seem like they are going to be mega months in the sport of boxing, where all of the big stars in world boxing have decided that if they have to, they will fight behind closed doors with no crowd or a limited crowd and take less money because they want to remain active. And that is great, and that is what boxing needs right now. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.